York's classic rock. Q1043.
Q104.3, 8 minutes after 8 o'clock. Okay, I'm a little confused here. We have a guest with us in the studio.
Confused?
It's David Hill. Yes, we always get promotional material from our guests to look over.
Sure.
And I have the promotional material that was supplied to me by David Hill's people.
Yes. Well, Dave Hill. David Hill is just for court appearances.
Yeah, okay. But
Good to know.
But I just want to share a little bit of this with you because it got me a little confused, okay? Dave Hill is a comedian, writer, musician, actor, radio host, and man about town, originally from Cleveland, Ohio, but now living in New York City in a totally sweet apartment with a party deck and everything. Hot chicks come over to hang out and eat cheese plates and stuff with him all the time, and it's awesome. And that's not all.
I don't know who wrote that.
Dave
honestly.
also made out with a lot of those chicks.
Oh, well done.
I don't know. Okay.
He made out with a lot of those chicks. Now, I'm trying to figure out how on earth, Dave, you had the time to do that, considering what you do with the rest of your life. What, 4 books you've written?
4 books,
You
yeah.
traveled-
And that stuff about...
you
the
traveled-
cheese
you-
plate is accurate.
You
but
traveled the
other stuff, I
entire
don't know.
world doing comedy
Yes.
and music.
Yes.
You do a ton of TV work.
Not as much as I'd like, but more
not as
more
much.
than my dad ever thought would
HBO,
happen.
Cinemax, MTV, VH1, BBC America, Sundance Channel, blah, 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 blah. Sounds
Yeah.
like a whole lot to me.
But it's never enough. You know how it is. Show business.
Right. And you're in 2 bands.
Yes.
Yeah, and an imaginary band.
And an imaginary band.
But you're in 2 bands.
Yeah, the imaginary one is honestly the most work.
Performing around the world. Okay, here's some venues and festivals. Melbourne International Comedy Festival. That's the other side of the globe.
That's Australia, yeah.
Yeah, South by Southwest.
Yeah.
San Francisco Sketch Fest. Edinburgh Fringe Festival. U.S. Comedy Arts Festival in Aspen. I mean, it goes on and on and on, including the world-famous Crap Comedy Festival.
In Oslo, Norway.
Yeah, I mean...
Crap?
They renamed it for when I came to
Yeah,
town.
and also entertaining prisoners.
Yeah, I've done I've done a couple shows at Sing Sing, which is a popular prison just north of here. And
Up the river.
up the river. That's as you know, literally where that came from. The big house, all this stuff. I did
You
that.
really did? You pulled the Johnny Cash?
I did. The first one was in 2009. I was out with friends and we were kind of joking because I maybe don't have the basically we were joking around and they were like they'll kill you. And
Wow.
And so the next morning I woke up and I said, I'll show my friends. I'm gonna call. So I called Sing Sing, asked for the comedy booker. They were confused, And I did it. It takes a lot of doing to book a show in prison. It's honestly the hardest.
Okay, but
so much paperwork.
But I've heard of musicians doing concerts for our incarcerated friends. But what on earth does a comedian do? What comedy works in prison?
Well, surprisingly, most of it, I was the week before the show, I was like, oh my gosh, what have I gotten myself into? And I thought to honestly cancel. And before I could, I got an email from the person at Sing Sing who arranged it with me. And they said, we're just making sure you're coming. And I was like, oh, okay, what should I expect? And they said, well, so far there's 250 inmates signed up to come to your show. They're all maximum security violent felons, and their favorite comedian is Cedric the Entertainer. And I was like, oh boy, this is. And so I just like, what am I going to do? And I was like, first of all, I treated it like a college gig. I just found it as soon as I got there. I'm like, tell me about the different cell blocks. They're like, the old guys are in A, the young guys are in B. There's the box, which is solitary, and then I just kind of, my favorite. I was like, who here is from out of town? And and they were really confused because they were looking at each other like, well, we're mostly from around New York. And I was like, well, who came from furthest away today? And this guy in the front row was like, I'm from Kansas City. And I said, did you always want to live on the East Coast? Or did it just work out that way?
A lot of crowd work.
It's crowd. Same thing as you would do.
And the reaction? What was the reaction?
It was honestly one of the greatest experiences of my life, and I quickly realized, and this is absolutely as soon as I got in there talking to guys, you kind of realize, like, sure, there's probably no shortage of lifelong criminals in there, but you also go like, oh, like a couple of the guys were like, because at the time I was doing stuff at Upright Citizens Brigade, and they're like, oh my gosh, we love Upright Citizens Brigade, like, and you're like, oh, these guys they maybe had a crazy night or crazy 2 minutes, and so you kind of realize there's not that big of a difference.
Yeah, but I always got the appeal of Johnny Cash at Folsom
Oh,
Prison.
yeah.
Because he's on the stage and he's singing, "I shot a man in Reno just to watch him die."
Yeah.
And then the whole place goes,
oh yeah,
whistling. And
well, I did. There was no shortage of pandering. They started heckling me.
You got heckled in prison?
In a fun way.
Yeah.
Not like they didn't like the act, but just, they. And so I started threatening, like, I'm going to come out there and stab you, and they loved it. And so as soon as I started doing that, then they all started like yelling stuff. So I would threaten them back, because I'm up there dressed in an outfit that doesn't, it doesn't look like I could do any damage.
Right. Well, Dave,
and I brought my guitar to prison, which is key.
Mm-hmm. And you brought your guitar here too.
I did. This trick I learned not trick, but the survival method. If you can rip solos, you're gonna be okay. I went to Mexican prison and played guitar there. Same technique, but I don't
So
speak
you're
Spanish.
like, your thing is the prison tour.
Well, I'm just trying to reach people wherever I can.
And the fact of the matter is that you're talking about a population that really, I'm sure, appreciates the entertainment.
Yeah, totally. I mean, all joking aside, that was really my motivation.
Every once in a while, we get letters from our friends who listen from prison to the radio, and it's always nice to hear that we're doing something that helps to brighten what could, ordinarily be a less than bright day,
Yeah, completely. I mean, we were talking about, I used to have my show on WFMU, and I would get letters all the time from inmates, and it was so great to know that you're bringing some joy into people's lives who probably don't have a lot of it.
Oh, and I forgot to mention that you did a radio show for years at the listener-supported non-commercial WFMU over in Jersey City, but also the podcast. I forgot to mention the podcast. I mean, you still...
I'm currently don't have a podcast,
and now you're going to do...
I'm just doing that as I feel like there's too many, and just as a statement, I'm not going to have a podcast.
And
so
now
you and Jim have something similar.
But now we have, in 3 days' time, the opening of an off-Broadway show.
Yeah, Caveman and a Spaceship at Soho Playhouse. It starts Monday, September 16th. And there's tickets remaining for only 7 shows at this point. It's 4-week run, and only the 16th, 20th, 23rd, 30th of September, and then October 4th, 7th, and 11th. Those are the only nights tickets are still remaining. Coincidentally, those are the only nights I'm doing the show. But it's important to know if you want to see the show.
I was ready to say, like, oh, congratulations, it's going great.
Oh, and he's got...
It is. I should have left out that last... My therapist would be mad at me for adding that last bit.
No, but you also... I mean, the theme song from John Oliver's show. My boss loves that show.
He's what we call obsessed with that show.
He's very
It's
obsessed.
a great show. Yeah, my band. I have a band called Valley Lodge, and we have a song called Go, and they were kind enough... They just called one day and they said we want to use this song, so I'm thrilled, and it's such a great show, and it's so fun. Like, my girlfriend will turn it on, and I'll hear this riff that I wrote at 4 a.m. in my underwear.
Wait! You have a girlfriend?
I know you wouldn't know it to look at me.
No. I mean, there's all this stuff here about making out with all the hot chicks.
I told you the cheese plate thing
that was
is
real.
entirely the rest. You can't believe the internet. Just focus on cheese plate. That's the truth.
Right, okay.
I made
right.
one last night.
Okay. Dave Hill is with
Buddha
us.
kind of guy.
We'll be right back at Q104.3.
You can't tell me what to do.
Okay. I just keep learning more, and I just get more and more impressed. I mean, Dave Hill also has a dog.
I do have a dog.
that he takes care of, and he makes guitar videos, and
Well,
and famous guitarists love his work.
yeah.
Which is really all I sought out. That was my only goal in life, really. The respect of guitar players.
No, but they
and
do.
comedians. Those
But
are my main.
Right, but they do. There are like famous guitar players who are fans of yours, not just because you're a funny comedic performer, but because you play really well, apparently. I mean, even though you say you're intimidated by sitting in the same chair one day later, that
Joel Hoekstra was here yesterday.
Yeah, I mean, he would whip me around like a rag doll, and in terms of guitar proficiency.
Really, just you warming up was really impressive.
yeah.
Well, I don't know. Again, you're right. I am amazing. My therapist is trying to get me to stop.
And you
being
go
so-
to therapy too.
Doesn't work.
Is there time?
You're Irish, right?
I don't know.
It looks like you might be.
Yeah.
But
He's a
they
Viking.
say like Irish Catholic people can't be helped. Like the damage is
What?
done.
Shelley's,
That's what
Probably.
my sister told me this.
Well, Shelley's always
So it's true.
Shelley's always making fun of me. With
Well,
the-
because
she's-
he pays, he doesn't talk about what's bothering him, but I know him best and he doesn't pay me.
See,
right,
the kind
Jim?
Of
I mean,
I
get
can-
into.
No,
can
you're
nail
right.
it.
I always feel like if I'm paying this therapist this much, I should probably pay about 5 of my friends this much.
Oh yeah.
But you've
What do
been-
you think it means?
Ever
I'm paying
since
you
you
to tell me.
ever since you walked into the studio and sat down, you've had that guitar out. You're
I have.
holding the guitar. Are
Yeah,
you going to do
for
something with it?
protection.
Or is it just?
Well, I meant to play
start-
when you mentioned the John Oliver theme song, I was going to play it. Anyway,
That was awesome.
thank you. Yeah, I wrote it. It's the best riff I ever wrote.
I
mean,
just saw the whole intro in my head.
yeah, welcome. Yeah.
And if my boss is listening now, he's happy.
Nah, he's
Oh, good.
Well,
yeah,
wait a
it's
minute,
great
He's
so-
happier.
so-
He's happier than had he
you-
drank a frog shake.
So do you get residuals every time it's played?
Yes.
Wow. So this
like
could be
all
the most
things,
lucrative
streaming
thing
has
of your
ruined it.
career.
But
Sure.
listen, he said, but like all things, streaming has ruined it.
Well, it's not.
Yeah.
Also, too, you're playing a very nice, because I'm a gear guy. You got the Rat guitar.
I am. This is. I'm not like loaded or anything, but I have enough money where I can indulge teenage Dave, and so I've now been going back and buying every guitar I ever wanted as a kid. So like, I bought. I saw the Cult. One of the first times they came to America on the Love Tour, and Billy Duffy from the Cult played Gretsch White Falcon, and I made a mental note as a teenager. I'm like, I'm getting that. I have that, and this is the Warren DeMartini Charvel sword guitar, which he played, and same thing. I've wanted it my whole life, and then I just got this pretty recently.
And it matches what you're wearing. So you got dressed to match the guitar.
I think it's important. I realize radio is visual or as a audio medium, but it still matters, I think.
Okay, what else are you going to play?
You gotta go. I'm playing just the easiest part of Eruption. But the thing about it is if you don't play guitar, it sounds like the hardest part, but it's the easiest part. That's the thing about guitar. Like anyway, but like
Well, is that you went on tour with Tenacious D and Jack Black too, and is that the stuff
did.
that you did? Because it was overseas, right? You did it with them.
well, I did the U.S. with them
Oh,
about
okay.
a year last September, and that was amazing. Those guys are the best guys, nicest guys.
Was it
And-
mostly comedy, or did you play? Or is it mostly you playing?
It's comedy with guitar, which is what my Caveman and a Spaceship show. So he'll play out starting this Monday, 16th. I combine it quite a bit, and I think for ultimately the ultimate entertainment experience, but also laziness on my part because I just want to leave the house once instead of doing a comedy show and then a band show.
So you combine.
Combine them both, get it out of your system, all in one
Rock
show.
comedian star.
Yeah. So, with Tenacious D, I would do both, and that's that's pretty much what I'm doing at this point is just combining. It's nonstop comedy, but I'm playing the guitar a lot of the show. There's times when I'm just standing there talking.
And you're friends with Fish.
I'm friends. I've just a budding friendship. I just became friends. This is embarrassing. He's probably not ever going to talk to me again. Talking about, but I just became friends with Trey. I mean, Anastasia. So.
Well, that's a cool thing.
Yeah,
Because
he's amazing.
he found you, right?
I mean, talk
Well,
about.
yeah,
this
how did
is
that work?
embarrassing.
Talk about a really
tell us.
great
This is
guitar
embarrassing.
player.
What if he's listening? He's gonna be like, this
He saw
Dave
a
guy's
video of
jerk.
yours and liked it, right?
He did. Well, yeah, my Instagram at Mr. Dave Hill at Mr. Dave Hill. My friend Bart Coleman, he's a huge Fish fan. He was getting, there's comedians doing this Mondegreen Festival in Delaware a few weeks ago, and he was kind enough to have me do the festival. And I thought that I was just booked. I thought Bart just got me on it. But then when I was there, they're like, "Oh no, Trey is a big fan of your Instagram." And I was like, "That's kind of I kind of hate the internet and social media, but when you find out that
Well-
you're like, oh, anyone could be watching this." Like Dave Lombardo from Slayer followed me the other day, and I was like, "Everything's canceled. I'm just gonna just do whatever I want the rest of the day."
Okay, our time together is coming to an end.
Oh, no!
So,
Okay.
shameless plug.
Caveman in a Spaceship, my one-man show at Soho Playhouse, starts this Monday, September 16th at 6, and there's tickets remaining for 16th, 20th, 23rd, 30th, and October 4th, 7th, 11th. I swear, if you come to this show, and you absolutely should, and I'm the end of the show, I go out and I'm at the exit. Everyone has to pass by me, and you can.
It's like church.
Yes, yeah, greet the priest. Yeah, and it is a bit like Mass in its own way, but with more guitar solos. That is where I started playing guitar, by the way, in church with nuns. Now look at me.
Okay,
It just goes to show
but
you
you were
can-
saying people go to your show and you're going to greet them as they're leaving the theater.
They can kick me right, and I don't know the words I can use on this. I'll just say but that's not what I mean.
We know what you mean.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's how much I believe in the show, that I'm ready. If anyone's disappointed, they can physically attack.
Okay, how do they get tickets?
You can go to sohoplayhouse.com. You can go to my website, davehillonline.com, and get. I bring 50 of your friends.
Okay,
Yeah.
Dave, thanks.
Thank you so much for having me.
Dave Hill here at Q104.3.
New York's classic rock, Q1043.